Developed by Forrest Breyfogle, President and CEO of Smarter Solutions Incorporated, the Integrated Enterprise Excellence System is an enhanced business methodology that addresses many shortcomings of current management practices. IEE integrates predictive scorecards with analytically and innovatively determined strategies, which leads to improvement efforts that positively impact the enterprise as a whole, and the organization moves toward achievement of the 3 R's of business. Everyone doing the right things and doing them right at the right time.
The Integrated Enterprise Excellence, or IEE system, is an enhanced business methodology that addresses many shortcomings of current management practices. IEE integrates predictive scorecards and analytically and innovatively determined strategies which lead to improvement efforts that positively impact the enterprise as a whole, and the organization move it towards the achievement of the 3 R's of business. That is, everyone doing the right things and doing them right at the right time. Integrated Enterprise Excellence is a 9-step business system. Often organizations create strategies as step 1 within their business management system. However, with IEE, strategies are created in step 5. The first 2 steps of the IEE system give focus to describing what is done by the enterprise and how these functions are measured. Unlike strategies, which can change over time because of leadership and/or environmental changes, the front end of the IEE system from an organization will remain fundamentally intact over time, where process improvement efforts will later focus on what can be done to improve procedures and their associated performance metrics on an ongoing basis. Let's now walk through the 9-step IEE business management system steps. In the first step, vision and mission provides organizational focus which will remain relatively constant over time. The second step describes through a value chain what the organization does and how the performance will be measured. With the IEE system, scorecard reporting in the value chain will be using predictive system that is not bounded by calendar year. Before proceeding to steps 3 through 9 of the IEE system, let's briefly describe the value chain. For step 2 of the IEE system, the rectangular boxes of a value chain describe the high-level functions which an organization does. In addition to its main functions, an organization will have support areas such as IT, safety, and finance. With the IEE system, the organizational chart is subordinate to the value chain. Hence, whenever a reorganization occurs, the basic value chain will remain intact organizationally. However, process and metric ownership can change. For each rectangular box functions, we want to establish performance metrics relative to quality, cost, and time. For the produce and deliver products functions, we might have chosen, for example, metrics for this area to be lead time, defective rates, on-time delivery, and work in process, or WIP. The next topic I will cover is how to report these metrics in a value chain where operational metrics will be reported at a high-level airplane in-flight view or 30,000-foot level perspective. Overall, enterprise financial metrics will have a similar view and be referenced as a satellite level metric. An organization's 30,000-foot level metrics will ultimately feed into its satellite level metrics, where in either case these metrics are not bounded by calendar year, quarter, or other boundaries. This formal report is applicable to all organizations, including nonprofits and government entities. Before we get into the reporting of the metrics, let's first talk about variability. Consider the time it takes for you to commute to work. Does it take you exactly the same amount of time to the second? Obviously not. Why? If you drive to work, you might respond there can be differences between amount of traffic or how many times we had to stop because of traffic signals. Commute time is the output of our commute to work process. This response is a function of process inputs such as amount of traffic and delays because of traffic signals. One's commute time will experience what is called common cause variability because of these inputs in a go-to-work process. However, if the time to commute were excessive for some particular reason, we would refer to this as a special cause event. We will talk about a special cause event when, for example, it took us 1 hour longer than usual to commute to work because of a major traffic accident. However, the simple setting of an arbitrary goal to have a maximum of 27 minutes commute time, for example, and then discussing why today it took longer than this goal does not lead to much, if any, value. We need to realize that if we don't like the result of a common cause variation, we need to do something that is fundamentally different within the process. For our commute illustration, a process improvement effort might be to leave 1/2 hour earlier so that we encounter less traffic. Frequently used red, yellow, green, or stoplight scorecards have similar issues as our commute to work illustration. To illustrate this in a real stoplight scorecard, someone is to take action whenever color is red and feels good whenever the metric color is green. For this red, yellow, green scorecard, we note how there were several transitions from red to green and vice versa. Let's now examine the same data using a 30,000 foot level control charting approach. With this tracking approach, we can say that our process is stable since there are no trends relative to our data-determined statistical upper and lower control limits. The implication of this is that the green to red transition in the stoplight reporting scheme were really common cause variability that we were reacting to as though they were special cause. Red, yellow, green scorecards can lead to much wasted firefighting efforts. With 30,000 foot level control chart reporting in the IEEE system, we are not bounded by calendar year. In addition, if we have a recent region of stability, we can formulate a futuristic statement. For this illustration, our plot indicates stability. Hence, a predictive determination can be created by considering data from the latest region of stability as a random sample of the future. However, it can be difficult to determine the nonconformance percentage estimate from this plot. A probability plot is a better approach since the distribution can be assessed and the percentage can be determined directly from the y-axis. Initially, a probability plot may look intimidating to someone not familiar with the methodology. However, these plots can be quite easy to understand. The horizontal axis of the probability plot is simply the magnitude of the response, and the vertical axis of the plot is percent less than. Hence, since our red criteria trigger is 2.2 or less, we can note that the y-value intersection magnitude of a vertical line from the 2.2 x-axis is about 33%. From an IEEE perspective, we can report a best estimate nonconformance rate of about 33%. In other words, about a third of the time, not only in the stable process region, but in the future, we can expect to experience about a third red signals, unless something fundamentally occurs different in the process. A comparison of the stoplight scorecard with a 30,000 foot level report out illustrates how behaviors between these two reporting systems can be quite different. The red, yellow, green scorecard would have led to much firefighting, which resulted in no process improvement, while the 30,000 foot level reporting methodology indicated that an improvement project effort is needed to reduce the frequency of nonconformance. This methodology is consistent with Dr. Edwards Deming's management philosophy relative to the inclusion of process variability within the business decision-making process. An organization that has a policy to use the 30,000 foot level metric reporting in lieu of stoplight scorecards can avoid much resource wasting firefighting efforts. An effective scorecard system needs to have a reporting methodology that everyone quickly understands throughout the organization, from the operator level to the CEO. To expedite this understanding, what is included in a 30,000-foot level reporting scheme is a notation under the graphical report out which makes a statement relative to predictability. With an IEEE organizational system, the 30,000-foot level form of reporting will be seen when we click on the oblong 30,000-foot level and satellite level metrics in the value chain. Traditional metric reporting does not make a predictive statement, which is not unlike driving a car by only looking at the rearview mirror, a hazardous practice when we're navigating a vehicle. With the IEEE system, we can look out the front windshield of the car. If we don't like what we see, we may need to apply the brakes or turn the steering wheel, which is analogous to conducting a process improvement project. If a 33% non-conformance rate is viewed as unacceptable, the organization would need to undergo a process improvement project for this process. Should we undertake this metric for our improvement efforts? My response is, I don't know. To determine where improvement efforts should focus, we need to consider the performance of other value chain metrics. Organizations benefit when they use software in their scorecard report outs so that the rectangle boxes in the value chain can be clicked for procedures and the oblong boxes can be similarly clicked to describe the predictability statements. An analysis of the value chain is conducted within Step 3 of the IEEE system, along with other aspects of the organizational situation. As part of this analysis, theory constraints, or TOC, would consider, for example, to determine whether the enterprise should be focusing more on increasing capacity or sales within their improvement project efforts. Analyses in Step 3 would consider competition, current economy, and risks, among other things. In Step 4, SMART satellite level metric goals are established. That is, these financial goals need to be specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-based. For example, if a business current profit margins are at 10% and our average industry is at 12%, a goal of transitioning to a monthly mean profit margin of 12% in 10 months might be reasonable. However, if our industry is operating at 8% and we are at 10%, it could be much wiser for an organization to do whatever it takes to maintain its current level of performance. In Step 5, the organization would create targeted 30,000-foot level goal-driven strategies that people can get their arms around. For example, if a business goal is to increase profit margin, the reduction of defective rates could be an objective that is aligned with this initiative. Hence, the owner of the operations defective rate metric might be assigned to reduce the magnitude of this measurement from 6% to 4% in 8 months. In Step 6, the defective metric reduction owner, for example, would now be seeking out someone to work on undertaking perhaps several projects that are to have bi-weekly status report outs to ensure timely progress toward project completion. At the same time, a business analysis might indicate that there is excess capacity available. Hence, marketing and sales projects could be undertaken at the same time to increase an enterprise top line. In Step 7, well-scoped projects are executed which are in line with previous analytically, innovatively determined strategies that are linked to SMART satellite level metric goals. An enterprise process improvement, or EIP plan, provides direction for high-level goals through strategies and high potential areas to projects that benefit the big pictures as described in Steps 4 through 7 of the IEEE system. In Step 8, assessments are made relative to how the improvement projects are impacting the enterprise goals. In Step 9, Controls are established to not only maintain the level of performance from improvement projects, but also the establishment and maintaining of controls for the business as a whole, where these controls consider environmental and supplier risk, among other things. One should note now that step 9 loops back to step number 3, not step number 1. This enterprise methodology is consistent with Deming's Plan, Do, Check, Act, or PDCA model for the business as a whole. With the IEEE system, the results from process improvement projects should positively change the value chain procedures. This in turn would make the 30,000 foot level metrics better, which would in turn then enhance enterprise satellite level metrics. The Integrated Enterprise Excellence System builds upon methodologies of the past. IEEE is documented at various levels of details in many articles and a 5-book series.
For more information about IEEE and a discussion on how this business management system might be beneficial to your organization, call Smarter Solutions at 512-918-0280 or send a message through our website at smartersolutions.com.